All right, should be live. Should be good to go. Let me get this invite link sent out. Hello everyone who's listening in later. I know nobody's in here yet, so this may never be heard by anybody. So, how do I share this shit? Hope you guys can hear me okay. Cool, 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 cool. Just give it a few minutes. For those who are listening in like later on, give me a few minutes. I have to get everyone in here. Let's look at some charts. See what's going on. I know a couple of people said that they were going to hop in live, so that always makes my life so much easier. My friend ADH is online, my man who asks plenty of questions. It makes my life so much easier, so hopefully he's listening in. Yeah, so I'm just gonna give it a minute. My music went MIA.
Plenty of questions.
Oh shit, nope, that's not my music. Got a new microphone as well for my headset. Yeah, you're online. Yeah, I just got a new headset. Not new headset, new microphone for my headset. So I don't know if it sounds any better or any different at all, but yeah. Hopefully you guys can hear me all good. And I always try to keep the music quiet, but not like I need some kind of background music to talk to. Hopefully this is good. Let me know if it's too loud as usual. Yeah. So I'll give it a couple minutes. The plan is to go through just my current Hiobi watch list, but I'm totally cool with going through any ticker you guys want. Can start from scratch, draw all over it, see. Oh shit, a little loud. How do I turn myself down? I've never had to turn myself down before. Hold on, let me fuck around. Maybe I'm just yelling. Okay. Maybe that's better. Let me know if that's any better. I'll try not to be too loud. Test, 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 test. Yeah, I don't do this stuff very often, guys, so hopefully this is good. I'm assuming audio output would be like microphone output, but could be wrong. Oh shit, nope. Cancel that. Maybe if you could just like, if I'm a little too loud, if you could just like turn me down. I don't want to be screaming in your guys' ear, but I don't really know how to test. Don't really know where to test this right now. Okay, fuck it. Give me a sec, guys. Alright. Cool, cool, cool. Alright, so like I was trying to say, if you guys want me to go anything in particular, let me know. I kind of just plan on going through my current watch list, maybe do a quick scan, see what's going on. Maybe take a look at Bitcoin, see what's going on there. Maybe look at Trading Light, see what the walls are looking like. Cool, bring that back. Alright, I haven't actually looked at Trading Light at all today. Looks like it's just building a really tight range. I'm sure you guys know how this is used, the yellow or the more yellow, like more closer to the lighter colors like yellow, the thicker the bids are. You can see there's some above, some below. They're pretty tight, like between $100. So I think we're probably just gonna hang out in this range. Probably not gonna do a whole lot until the SPY, or at least the US futures open. I believe that's in an hour. I could be wrong, but my take is bearish. on Bitcoin, especially seeing that we're pegged with the SPY. I posted. Is there an easy way to do it? I posted the ES1. This just looks like god awful shit to me. This is the traditional futures. I sent it out to you guys while I was still in this wedge. It fell below. Clearly that's bearish. Sitting on the 200 EMA and the 200 MA on the 4 hour. And if we lose that, I think it's a pretty heavy drop below. You can see we've held on to it countless times before. Lost it here briefly, but it was caught by the 200 MA, which is both are underneath us right now. So that last stand here was caught, but now they're both at the exact same price up here, if that makes sense. It did fall briefly here once with a massive rally. I'm assuming Trump was like, holy crap, I need to do something, and posted some news. I'm not entirely sure. This is only, yeah, about a week ago or so. I think that might have been when the Fed was going to start buying everything in their power, or whatever it was. Yeah, and here we are, last stand once again. 4 hour MAs are now bearish. These ones up here. That's never good. In the 1 hour, of course, are also bearish, all above us as resistance. And daily, you can see there, well, the MA7 is against us, but if we start losing these daily MAs, I think it could get pretty damn ugly. But for now, this is what my eyes are on, and if this falls, the SPY or S&P will fall, and if that falls, Bitcoin will fall. So it's kind of like a snowball effect, really. Even though it's like all at the exact same time, they'll all start moving. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I think we're probably, looks like it's, oh, well, who knows? This is going to get walked either way, right? So, not really sure what the fate for Bitcoin is. To be honest, I'm leaning bearish, like I said. And yeah, see, we've lost that. We've looked at this range for quite a while now. So it looks like we bearish retested it on the last 4 hour candle. So I'll zoom in a bit. Lost it, bearish retest, and now it looks like we're going to continue down further. And next real line of support, I think, is down at 8.7. We've kind of lost this level quite a few times now, and I feel like we can only do it so many times before then we see an actual drop down. Especially with these MAs, you can see every single one is above us as resistance, and I think they're going to start pulling in closer to price and just push us down. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know. I just don't see many bullish cases here, right? Like I think it's going to take a lot, especially with a traditional market being pegged 1-to-1. I think it's going to take quite a bit, or at least Trump doing some crazy shit for us to get back to that 10K mark. So we'll see. I'm not rushing into any longs. I don't have any open on Binance futures. Yeah, so mainly my stack right now is in Huobi coins. Fuck off. Yeah, mainly my stack's in Huobi coins right now, just because they are affected a lot less compared to Binance alts. And when I say that, like, Binance alts in Bitcoin value usually drop more than the ones on Huobi. Sometimes Huobi is completely unaffected and hold their value, even if there's a big drop. So I feel a little more safe on there. But there are still some that are holding strong or still looking quite bullish. So it would be ideal, or extremely ideal, if Bitcoin starts bleeding, and alts go up and up and up in Bitcoin value. That's the alt trader's dream, in my opinion. That'll just allow us to accumulate more sats, and then hopefully after weeks, months, however long, we can have X amount of Bitcoin stacked up, and Bitcoin then can start rallying. So we'll see what happens. I'll just delete this for a quick sec to get a view of the daily perspective. So, like, I don't know, I was drawing random shit on this earlier today, and come on, why would that be yellow? And it just looks like that's a really poor curve. I'm kind of doing this quickly, the spur of the moment, but kind of just looks like we're starting this curl down. I know that you could draw this whole wick-off distribution theory, which could be perfectly correct, but we can also see we're starting to lose the daily MAs, losing the momentum upwards, at least for now. And yeah, I don't know. I like to be bullish. I prefer being bullish. It makes life a lot easier, but I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible and just, go with the facts that I'm seeing. The facts are that things are turning bearish on the Bitcoin chart. So we'll see what happens. I'm just going with the flow and just not hopping into any leveraged positions at the least. So I think that kind of covers that quickly. So yeah, we'll see. Closing the daily below 9.3, which 3 hours from now we will be. I think it's almost about time we see a leg down on Bitcoin. So we'll see. So yeah, I guess I'll just hop into alts. I don't know who's listening or how many people, but like I said, anyone that hops in general and Discord, just like ask me any questions you want, give me any tickers you want me to look at, if you want any clarity, etc., etc. Like I'm open to helping out. Right, well, let's just start at RSR. That's clearly been like the big gainer of the day. Yeah, start at RSR. So it's kind of funny. I remember when our group was looking at RSR when the chart looked like this. Kane, shut the fuck up. Lol. Okay, so yeah, I'll go over like current positions. I'm gonna go through the current watch list, which includes the ones you guys mentioned. Yeah, I don't know, bro. When you grow up, you should be like a dump truck driver or something. I don't know. You kind of suit the look. You and your maybe you should be like the fuck is this? A lumberjack with that beard of yours. Anyway, just looking at RSR, I thought I just had a little like flashback from when. Well, I guess it would have been back in, wow, like right when we started group. That's hilarious. We were looking at RSR, super basic chart, not a lot of price history. It was building this wedge here. Little did I know, I even have the old chart. I'll show you guys in a second. But I have the old chart from when my layout was completely different and when we were at this point. Right here, you can see it's completely different layout, but it is the same chart. It was building this wedge, and it had just like broken out and done this weird like price action within these MAs, which is exactly right here at the most ideal entry point that we could have ever had. So it broke out of this wedge, hung around the daily MAs, and started flipping them. And not little did I know, we got in at this point. Should have went heavier as usual, but yeah, once we started flipping these daily MAs, that would have been a trigger to get in, and that was a quick 200% move. So, pretty neat to see how something so simple can be so effective. And those are the plays that we're like going for, and the ones that I have my eye on for. You don't need to overcomplicate it. You don't need fucking indicators out of the wazoo. You literally just need to follow normal price action volume and like your diags, horizontals, MAs. If you can master those things, you can easily make money, as we see like our friend AD in group. He's literally just doing the things that I've taught him and whatever else he's learned, which are pretty similar things, and he's catching move after move. So but yeah, I know a lot of you are actually doing really well, so I'll leave that at that. But we can look at RSR now. So once again, I should have shed more light on this. I think like a handful of us caught it, and I did preach about it a couple times, but it's hard to keep an eye on everything, and it's hard to. I already spam enough in the group, right? So I don't want to like annoy you guys, but I'll go over what's happened recently on RSR. We had this diag that we were watching, extremely straightforward once again. It was literally like identical to this, but it was just like a falling wedge slash just diagonal like breakout that we were watching for. So clearly did that. Held on to the daily MAs, held on to this 200 MA that I was a little concerned of, and I remember saying, okay, we should buy the 200 MA retest, buy the retest. We got it again right here, and then just started reclaiming the daily MAs and went on for a moon launch, which actually went pretty damn quickly. And even the other day, I was like, okay, guys, here's another diagonal. Watch this, and then, boom, it's gone pretty parabolic ever since then. So, current plan, seeing that it's already up so high, I've exited most of my position, just because I plan on getting back in at a better, like a lower price, like specifically this horizontal, but I think there's going to be a lot of people waiting for this horizontal retest. So if you front run it, like maybe set your bid zone just above it, just so that your invalidation isn't huge, but you're able to get in front of every single other person that's waiting for this retest, because it's the like it was the previous high that was once resistance, now in theory should be flipped into support, and would be a very nice re-entry 18% away or so, but I have a strong feeling that it's not going to end up happening, or it'll get like most of the way there and keep going. So I think that covers RSR. That's pretty straightforward play. Congrats to anyone who has been playing it or is playing it still. I have a few scam bids set up, but like if you zoom out, there's really not a lot of price history like to go against. There's no resistance levels, right? So you could like put an order here at this like the very high, like the highest high that we've had was on listing day. 75, yeah, exactly, yeah, 75 sats. Yeah, and other than that, like there's nothing stopping it, right? Unless like it's just where like the people with bags have decided to set their orders, but there's nothing actually technical analysis wise. There's nothing, like at least with my setup, that I can tell you, hey, like you could start drawing fibs, yeah, and then just do like the overextended fibs, but so I think that covers ours. So pretty straightforward. All MAs look good. Volume's huge. I don't know where it came from or why it's here suddenly, but setup is 10 out of 10. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 75 sats becomes an SR, then you could, but it was just like a wick on listing day, so you can't put too much strength on that being like a support level or a resistance level, right? Like I might just like ignore it like it didn't even exist, because it was just such a quick like movement to that point, right? No like candle closes up in this region by any means, so it could easily just pull a seal and just go like moon launch. I don't know where it's gonna go, but so I'll move on to the next one. I don't want to like spend way too much time looking at single coins, but CMTs, I'm just sorting it by price movement on the day. CMT is still one I really love. It's on Binance and Huobi, as someone pointed out. No difference at all. Same coin, same price, same everything. Looks extremely good just because these MAs, a picture like this is basically perfect. Like they're all underneath the support, they're all curling up, they're all close to price, and some are starting to cross the other. Now we're just facing this 200 EMA that we've literally talked about 100 times, and it looks like, especially on the like Binance closes in like 3 hours, right? So if it can hold above here, for daily close, that's a really good sign for both exchanges, right? Because that'll at least have one exchange close above the EMA, and then has that nice gap up to this horizontal level I just drew. Quick 26%. Could even draw like a few more horizontals at key levels, and they're pretty big gaps, as you can see, between each SR level. So those would be my initial targets. And we're not downtrending anymore, right? So this was like the last time we touched this diagonal, and then ever since then we've been trending this way. So pretty straightforward shit. Basically just wouldn't want to lose this trend line or start losing the daily MAs. Set a quick bid zone, you know, right in there, right at the daily MAs. You could even be super passive / picky and not over there, and set it like right at this trend line here, and then exit on a close below. Pretty straightforward. Tighten validation, really big upside. Yeah, and that's definitely, this is definitely a good coin to keep an eye on. So we'll yeah, we'll see what happens with that. SOL, literally, do you go to 2-day or 3-day time frame to check some EMA? Yeah, I do go. I have like, especially like with coins that have been moving quite a lot, like RSR for example, I do zoom out to the 3-day. Just ones that have already surpassed the daily MAs, that's when I start to go to the 3-day so that I can get the next like resistance points MA wise. Like what's one that's going crazy like that? Let's go look at Zill or something. Like Zill, if you look at the 3-day, the 3-day MAs start to become a little more significant, like resistance wise, when we've had like a major, or started to ramp up and like I said, surpass the daily MAs. So as you can see, tried to hold the 200 EMA and MA on the 3-day chart for Zill, and clearly has struggled to do that. Could even short it here, which it rejected off cleanly at the 3-day 200 MA, which is the black line there. And it is on futures, so you could easily have just shorted at that point and see what happens. But yeah, those are the main times I check the 3-day. Sometimes I check the 3-day and the weekly also, just to set some horizontal SR points. But with how things have been recently, it's been mainly just the daily and the 4-hour. But yeah, like 90% of the time just the daily. It seems to work out pretty well for me. So okay, so I'll just keep going through the list. Hopefully that's clear. I don't look at the 2-day, by the way. I only look at the 3-day. I can honestly say I've never looked at the 2-day in my whole life on TradingView. Haven't had the need to yet, anyway. Okay, actually, I'll do the ones that Imran's asking about. I just don't know what time it is. Like, I know that it's late for some of you guys, and I don't want to keep you guys up if you're just waiting on certain like coins to look at. My shit's freezing up. Okay. As many coins go past 200 EMA on the day, I guess you need to check higher time frames. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do recommend looking at the 3-day after especially after we've surpassed the daily EMAs and MAs. But yeah, 12 hours sometimes, but honestly, not even that often. Only if I'm trying to like, how do I explain this? Only if I'm trying to confirm like a retest on. I don't even know how to explain it. Let's just leave it at no, because honestly, like I can't say that you guys need to fuck around with the 12-hour right now. I'm honestly not sure how to explain what I'm trying to say. It's basically if I'm looking for a retest, but that isn't visible on the daily, but it would be visible on slightly lower time frames, if that makes sense. But yeah, no, I think you guys and myself will do extremely well focusing on the 4-hour for entries and checking the EMAs, and the daily for checking the MA and EMAs. And in the daily wise, you just get a very clear idea of direction. I see some of you typing, but yeah, like I said, these two will be your best friends. You can use the 1-hour sometimes to get an idea of really like low time frame trend, because if we have the 1-hour MAs on the 1-hour, just a nice like, it just gives you a nice short-term bias of direction. 4 hours more midterm, and like intra-week type of stuff, and then daily I consider a higher time frame. But yeah, I think the MAs on the daily are a lot more important than the MAs on the 4-hour and 1-hour. And I'd prefer to have my high time frame bias is more important than my low time frame bias. So I would listen to the higher time frame bias over the low time frame. So daily gets more of a pull than the 4-hour and the 1-hour, and it's obviously fantastic when all time frames have matching biases, or are both going in the same direction. You know what I mean? Gray. I don't know if you're listening or not, man, but I just like rant on these things, and Yeah, so BNT, KNC, Zilla Ren, all about 200 EMA on the daily. Yeah, so yeah, if they're like, if all these coins are above the 200 EMA on the daily, like I'll pull one up, I guess, for example. But yeah, just zoom out to the 3-day. That's what, well, that's what I've been taught to do, and that's what my friends have all advised that I do. Haha, great, that's funny. All right, so just, well, yeah, even the 3-day. We've flipped the 3-day, we flipped the daily, we flipped the 4-hour, we flipped the 1-hour. Let's see what the weekly even looks like. Oh yeah, look at this bastard run. So yeah, Ren has nothing stopping it. Probably had a million opportunities to buy into it. You could have even just set like a horizontal at this high, and well, yeah, didn't even come for a retest. Yeah, this bitch is just going for it. So yeah, like I don't fuck with coins too often that are like have gone so parabolic already. Like I like ones that are just starting their run and then riding it the whole way up. But like trying to find an entry here would be so like impossible to do in my opinion, unless you're fucking around in like the 4-hour and 1-hour and like, you know, you could just buy like the flip on the 1-hour and then just like exit on a close below. But I personally I prefer just doing the higher time frame, like bottomed out alts that are just starting their momentum up, if that makes sense. So there's just different types of trades, right? Different types of traders. Some people would literally just like buy these 1-hour flips over and over again. Like you buy down here, sell resistance, buy the flip, sell resistance, buy the flip, sell resistance. So we just do that over and over and over again, like we've gone over about. But that's not really my cup of tea. I prefer ones that are just starting, like SOL for example. Pretty bottomed. Went sideways for, well, only 40 days, but still went sideways, stuck in this range. Set some quick horizontals here. So literally just buy within this little range thing that we formed. But then we started flipping these few MAs that we have here. And obviously have broken out of this range, closed above, retested, now starting to move up. And there's really not much resistance above us, you know, there's no price history, and all you can really do is just mark out the candle close high and the wick high. And there's not really any points here that have been touched multiple times. Like you could put one here, sure, why not, if you just want to have one. And yeah, like I have a really strong feeling that this one, if Bitcoin just stays chill, is going to come tap this 38% target. If not this other target, another 21% up in the next like few days if Bitcoin stays calm, or alts get to breathe and Bitcoin bleeds. I don't really give a shit what Bitcoin does as long as alts can move up. That's all that matters to me. All right. Whew. All right, so let's go over BTS just to kind of get it over with. I started doing it but got kind of distracted, but this one has a little weird looking price action. I'll use this replay tool. See over here, like I wouldn't have been too interested, because the daily MAs you can see are all spread out, all as resistance. They did flip them at this point down here, and you could have bought this massive pump up, but you're still kind of tangled in these MAs. So what the fuck is going on here with all my stuff? Excuse me. So now we go all the way back down, puke it all up. And as you can see, as we're puking it up, these daily MAs are all getting closer and closer together. They're still acting as resistance. And now we're kind of at the point now where we're starting to flip them. And now they're clean. They're all close to us. They're all underneath us as support. We're just flipping the 200 daily EMA right now after ranging for 300 days in this little range, other than this weird scam wick thing. But we're properly reset now compared to here where we weren't. And we have once again a really nice 29% up gap that we've bonked multiple times in the past. There, and hopefully here. And that's pretty much it, to be honest with you. Like we're in a clear uptrend once again. Boom, boom, boom. You could even enter as close to possible as at this diagonal. I don't know if we'll get there at this point. Seeing that we're about to flip the EMA, I would rather that than come back down here. But yeah, that's pretty much how easily you can play these things. So I don't really want these scribbles on here, but yeah, and just like there's once again, look at these gaps, guys. Like here all the way down to here. It's a gap, right? Because price is not fucked around in this area. Like price is not fucked up in a single area or fucked around multiple times, right? Like it's just like literally just fell through. And when it just falls through, there's no orders in the way, buys or sells in the way at these points. So it's safe to assume that once we start flipping levels, like once we flip this level here, it's going to go for a nice tear up another 58%. Like, who doesn't want 58%? Look at this. It just looks picture perfect to me. So that's why I picked this one. It, like a lot of coins on Huobi, just look like they've had the proper reset. Kind of like the ones on Binance, right? Zill had a proper reset. Verge had a proper reset. Strat had a proper reset. So did Fuel, but Fuel's a cocksucker and isn't moving up yet. But you guys get the point, right? Everything just looks reset. Starting like it's found its range. It's gone sideways for a while. Daily MAs are reset, and it's just like primed for a move up, right? Like this is primed for a move to at least start filling some of these like SR levels, right? It might not just be a clean up, 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 but like you can assume, well, hopefully assume that we just like dick around, just have a nice uptrend the whole way up. That was a really poorly drawn line, but you guys know what I mean. Yeah. So that covers BTS, I think. If you want any clarity on that, let me know. But they're all like fairly straightforward plays, I think. I just think that they're at the point of reset where they're ready for some kind of move. UUU is a funny one. It's had some like, if I zoom out, like look at this shit. If you zoom out to like the weekly, we're this little blip over here. Rejected pretty hard on this weekly. Like candle here, but that at the same time gives us a good entry point in my opinion. Can mark a horizontal at the bottom here. Obviously an ideal entry would be as close as possible to that. Where is that? 477. So that's a massive move down, and we've only tested that point once, so I'm highly assuming that we won't go there again. But mark another horizontal where we've tested multiple times. We've tested here, we tested here before the big fall through, and then reclaimed it, and massive green candles. So it's safe to assume that this, hopefully you guys can see, this horizontal that I've marked here, oops, let's clean that up a bit. This horizontal right here is very significant. So if you could get filled down here, good for you. Most people probably didn't because they'd be too scared because it's at an all-time low and could easily keep falling, falling, falling. So there was just fuckery by the market maker, right? He brought it to a new low, so people are like, oh no, all-time low, there's no support, we're fucked, we're fucked. And then they all capitulate just for the market maker to be like, haha, just kidding, fuck you, and bring it up. How many hundreds of percent is that? Can you imagine capitulating for something just to go another 400%, 420% up? Like 420 fucking blaze it, boys. You got fucked on that one. So, once again, we're back with UUU. Even if it did 400% again, sure, fine. But like, look at this. Look at this. Like, can you imagine going even remote? Fucking look at this stupid shit in my way. I don't even have enough room. 2,000%. Like that's pretty insane. Pretty like, yeah. Look at that. Yep, blaze it, bro. So anyway, zooming into the daily, that was just a brief like look at how like crazy the weekly looks. And I was talking about earlier, it pulls like a Matic though. So you want to be along for the ride, but take profit along the way and set your stops, because if you are the not smart person who decides, hey, it's already up however many 1,000%, why don't I just buy it around here? You know, fuck it. And then if you do that, you are going to lose all of your money because it's going right back down to where it started. So, yeah, it's pretty dangerous, boys. It's kind of the wild wild west, but like literally just don't be greedy is like the name of the game. Like anything, take your profit. Like you might not ride along for the whole ride, like full bag wise, but if you can like keep compounding and like are very cautious and like I said, just take profit and like reduce your exposure, you'll be perfectly fine. But poor people that have been bag holding since probably in the UUU community, and they're like, oh, this is going to be the new Ethereum, and then like, no, it doesn't do that at all. Um, so yeah, we'll kind of look at like current price. You can see like, look at this, like these daily MAs were so fucked. Look how fucked up these things look. All over the place, fucking mixed match of crazy bullshit going on. But as time has gone on, ever since this massive run up, they've gotten to reset like anything, right? We've just gone sideways. We haven't lost this low that we outlined. Or I guess like we've held this horizontal, which would have been an amazing entry if I had my eyes on it. Up here. Didn't get that, but we're not far away. Like it's well, we'll see what happens. Like I said, it's a volatile one. Some crazy shit can happen. I don't expect it to be nice and simple. Maybe it will be. I haven't seen anybody even remotely talk about UUU in a very long time. But daily MAs now are finally like reset properly. Look, all of them are flipped support right below us, except the 200 EMA that, as we know, once flipped is a good trigger that we get to see some continuation. So bid zone wise, obviously I'd love to get filled down here. I'm going to keep that in mind. But the daily MA cluster, which like I've talked about a million times, is also a really good entry point. So if you can get filled between this 790 and 827, I think you're pretty good. At least if you start getting in and holding on to this one for a decent period of time. These MAs are going to curl up as they are and hopefully push us up. I don't know what the plan for this coin is. I don't know. I'm assuming Hiobi's, like the market maker, which I'm assuming is Hiobi themselves, are going to be like, okay, now's the time, and it will start its launch. Look how quickly this shit launched. Like, it was like just a sudden whoosh. Like, you didn't really have time to react, and day by day, it would just fucking moon launch up and up. So, we'll see what happens. I think it's just worth having some exposure. Don't go all in. Don't like, put 95% of your like portfolio into it, but a few percent I think is like an ideal thing to do. Especially for like a swing trade, right? If you want to have a couple things that you hold on to for a handful of potentially weeks, hopefully not more than that. But we'll see what ends up happening. Just because of the structure the way it is now, I just don't think it's that much longer until a decision is made. Whew, fuck! I swear every time I do this, I like partially lose my voice just from talking for like an hour and a half straight. So I think that covers UUU. What other ones are looking really good? So Acro is one that Pierre and Krillin are talking about a lot. I did have this already posted, but I saw Pierre looking at the dollar chart, so having that confluence, no worries. If you want any clarity on anything, I'm totally down. Sometimes I think things are like common knowledge or whatever, because I've been doing this for so long and it's just like second nature, but yeah, hopefully it's all like clear cut and like in decent layman terms for you guys. So going to Acro, this has been an interesting one. I remember I made a shitload of money on this one. I think it was around here, yeah, end of last year with like when I was just becoming friends with like Krillin and stuff. We were like, holy shit, Acro. I have to go back on my Twitter. It's one of the first few I caught, and I caught like the bottom of it, and I made like quite a lot of money. I'm pretty sure it was around here, around like yeah, around that point, right when I was new on Twitter, and that moved 155%, and I was on it for most of that ride, so that was pretty dope. But looking at current price, it's built this wedge over the past like 160 days, about like half a year or so, or whatever, and kind of been downtrending for even longer, right? Since I wrote it last, which feels like a distant memory, it's kind of just been bleeding and excuse me, this wedge. As you guys can see, the daily MAs are kind of iffy. Ooh, excuse me again. they're kind of iffy, as you can see. Like they're just acting as resistance, right? I like when they're all underneath us. It just makes life easier, right? Because they're acting as support, not resistance, not something we have to like fight against, right? But regardless, I think that seeing that we build this nice wedge and we're just breaking out of it now and have some of the daily MAs underneath us, especially the 4 hour, which I was looking at as well. Look at that. That's very nice looking, very clean looking. You could even just buy this retest of this wedge, or as close as possible, and like obviously wait for a bounce. And then if it just closes back inside, you just, you can exit the trade very like tight and validation, right? Right? Like you could just do like a couple percent stop loss and call it a day. Wow, that looks really messy now. Okay, so pretty straightforward shit. Just set some like simple targets. Like this was the last high. This was the high before that, and just like set some pretty like standard targets, and just like yeah, like literally just set a bunch of sell orders at these levels, and pretty good chance that they'll get hit at some point if things go as planned, right? So, and these are just like like what's the word I'm looking for? Like I don't know, short-term exits. Because for all I know, it's going to keep ripping, but we can just compound on the way. If we like can start flipping these MAs and EMAs, then that could potentially be a point where it just keeps running more, and we can compound on it. But for now, it's good to just have these short-term targets that could easily just get wicked to and like overnight while you're sleeping. And then suddenly you're like, you've doubled your money, which is like the best feeling in the world. But you can't expect that by any means. So we'll see how it goes. I just really like how this one's turning out so far. Went over BTS, went over CMT, CTXC. I know there's just a couple of members in it right now. I think it looks perfectly fine. We can just like draw some simple diagonals. We'll see what ends up happening this one. Binance is just acting a little weird the past few days, especially with Bitcoin being all fucking wonky. But this one's still perfectly valid. Ideally, I'd want, like, if I wanted to get like a really good entry, I'd love to get another bounce on this diagonal. But for people that are in, I don't want to lose all these daily MAs that we're sitting on, and I want to like break out of here sooner than later, or else, like I said, it's gonna like, if you're already in position and it comes all the way down to there, that's like a 15% loss-ish, right? So, little scary, something to keep an eye on. So we'll see how that one goes. Deep Brain Chain, another really funny one. What do I have drawn on here? I don't think I have much even drawn on here. So I'll zoom out. Let's look at like the weekly or some shit. This one has been like a meme. I think you guys have probably seen it on Twitter a handful of times. This one is look at this bastard. Holy shit. So we're like, you can't even see where we are now because we're so bottomed out, but like, yeah, that's pretty disgusting looking. So this one can ramp up, and it's like been a long awaited like meme for quite a while now. And we're now once again at the point where we're trying to flip these MAs. A lot of them are reset, as you can see, right? See, these ones are all underneath us as support. When it was over here, they were kind of tangled. Over here, kind of tangled. But now we're above it, which, is nice, right? It's always a nice reason to get your eyes on something at least. And like, it is a little funky price action, to be honest. I was hoping it'd go sideways for a little while longer, just to let them all reset. But as usual, you can't. Like, you get what you get, right? You can't like draw it yourself. You can't ask it to stop and wait for it to do something. You kind of have to go with the trend. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this one. It's pretty tricky one, but I had this like diagonal drawn, or something along the lines of that. Looks like it's kind of breaking out, retesting right now, above the daily open, above the weekly open, above all the 4-hour MAs. And yeah, starting to flip some of the daily MAs. So I think it's like at least something that you could potentially start building a position on. You could potentially set your entry here at this like local low that we had, like this local candle close low, if you want to be like passive about it. Or you could do it maybe once the daily closes above the 100 MA, you could set some bids there. but I'm really interested to see how this one ages, just because I've never really seen it go on a massive run before. But I swear to you, I think that it's going to, at some point, might not be in the immediate future, but I swear this one's going to go on an insane run. Timing's key though, right? So we'll see what happens. There's not really much I can chart on this one other than throwing up a whole bunch of like horizontal SR points. So we'll see what ends up happening. I have a small bag, but I think the decision is going to be made pretty quickly on this one, whether it's going to like actually go for it or not, right? Like if it loses horizontal, I'd probably like start to exit, just because it would be forming a new like local low. Even though we are holding these daily MAs, and especially if we lose like the daily MAs down here, then it's fucked. Like it's straight up fucked, and it's gonna just like I think it's gonna take a lot of power for it to like go for a true rally. So looking at timing and how a lot of other alts are like turning up and like have reset and like all their structures and everything, I'm fairly confident that like ones like this like will follow suit. I don't know, we'll see. I could just be like completely fucking wrong and this one just dies a painful death, but I think it looks alright. So I'll move on to another one. That's Deep Brain Chain. Don't know what the fuck it does. I remember it was in their Telegram and it's the fucking most hilarious thing. If you're ever bored and want to like laugh at some people, which you know, I don't like to do too often, but like honestly it's fucking hilarious. Just go join their like public Telegram and it's all like bag holders that have probably held since the top and they're like, oh no, this is the future, but then realize it's not after it's down 99%, but they're holding on to any type of like hope they can. So hit is one that I haven't posted anything about. It's just like I'm having a little difficulty reading what it wants to do. Like you guys see, like we're above the daily MAs. It's kind of just gone sideways for a while with these weird random like spikes and shit. So I'll put my drawings back. I don't know, I just saw this like diagonal here. It's nothing too exciting. Set some horizontal levels. Once again, nothing overly exciting, but I don't know. To me, it just kind of looks like it just wants to, like it's gone up, and now it's like pulled back to consolidate a bit. And I just think after this few days of consolidating and holding here strong, that it like looks like it's ready for another leg up, especially with these like daily MAs being right underneath us. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't have a position. I'm still trying to decide if I want to post much about it, but it's just on my radar for that simple reason. Iris, yep, it's continuing on since I looked at it this morning. I bought a bag on this 200-day EMA retest right here. You can see this wicked right into it perfectly. So I guess I'll start a little earlier. So kind of just did this like sideways shit. Fell to new lows, but then started reclaiming those lows along with the daily MAs. So now at this point, like right when we flip the 200-day EMA, that's a massive sign to be like, okay, how the fuck can I get into this thing? Because we've reclaimed these lows we were at like here. So we've surpassed those. We're not downtrending anymore. We're above the daily MA. So it's like, okay, now what the fuck do I do? I'm sure there's a lot of people, I didn't get in, but a lot of people probably bought this initial 200-day EMA retest. Clearly that didn't work out because we lost it. But now once again, we've reclaimed it. Very good sign. And I don't know, personally, a lot of the times when I've seen the reclaims after like failing, a lot of the times I've seen continuation, but yeah, I don't know. I took it upon myself to buy that next 200-day EMA retest that we got here. You can see these other ones, like, how do I explain? So on this initial breakout, these MAs were kind of all the way down here dangling like a few percent down, right? But now that we've reclaimed it, look how much closer they are to current price. That's a really like that's bullish in my opinion. So I bought that retest. You could like have a very like passive target of the recent high we just had. It's only like 11%. I don't know. That is like a lot of people would be like, holy shit, 11%, especially in like the traditional world. But as we all know, 10% isn't like a massive deal. So I'm just gonna draw just because I see these random. diagonals. Yeah, so that's interesting. Even like a reclaim of this diagonal, because it bonked, 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 bonk. So like even on a reclaim of this, that would have been a decent buy to get in and just like stop loss on a close below the diagonal. But too late now for that. Second entry would have been this retest. Third entry would be where I got in at that 200-day EMA retest. We'll just do some green boxes. So hopefully that makes sense so far. And then yeah, target that 10% as like a really, really passive target. But then yeah, no, that's not. I probably wouldn't even set any sells there. I'd probably sell in here, just because we've retested here a handful of times. So that's. Yeah, that's a nice 53%. That's the shit I like. Give me a nice 53% move up. So for anyone not in, those are well, like this one I don't think we're gonna get anymore. So that's like a big X. We might get another horizontal retest, maybe, but I don't really want to go back down there again. It already did this one time. That would have been a good entry, but I fucking blew that one. But this retest here, slash, like it's a little aggressive just getting in, like market buying, but if we can dip just a bit closer to these MAs, that'd be pretty ideal in my opinion. Yeah, so I think that, yeah, and then you see, like I've kind of preached about these pretty big gaps, right? Where price just like falls, like it's just a fucking waterfall down, with nothing else really in the way. Those are what we want, so that we can just like fill the gaps, sell at that 30, 40, 50% gap up, and fucking do that a couple of times. So that's why I like Iris, one of the many that look fucking awesome. And I think that kind of covers that. Let's see, ITC. This one's been a little funky. I haven't posted a single thing about it. It has like, it's kind of forming this wedge that I kind of expected it to pop out from by now. It's just going to fill that 15% gap up to the 200 MA/EMA. I don't know, not really worth the time really. There's a lot of like price action here and chip choppiness, which is all going to be like resistance that we're going to fuck around with. So if you want to play for that 15% up, sure, go for it. But I think there's better plays out there. Yeah, I might not even make it that far. I might just get like 10%, because bang, 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 bang. You can see it stopped here multiple times before. It'll probably stop there again. So, it's decent, but not worth the time right now. A lot of them look the same though. Like can, pretty similar thing. Missed the 200-day EMA retest, which would have been fucking mint. If we caught that, you'd be up 17%. Can we look at futures? Yes, in a little bit. Yeah, maybe I'll look at futures soon. I can look at the futures coins. Do you want to look at the coins or the platform? Because I can show you the platform in a little bit. I'd have to like log in and everything and get my shit all sorted out. Yeah, cool. I can show you that. That's pretty straightforward. Yeah. Were you tired of me talking about these shit coins or what? I'll kind of. What time is it now? 5. Yeah, I'll go over it soon. Yeah, I've been talking for a while. No, it's only been an hour. Okay, so hopefully I'm not becoming too repetitive. Hopefully you guys are understanding this. Just looking at Lamb, like a lot of them look fucking great. This one looks like a nice easy gap up. There's no resistance in the way for at least 38% up. I have a bag waiting for it to fill. Could set like a horizontal mark here. I'd probably fill more on the flip of this level, or maybe a little higher, just because we've kind of, you can see just prices bounced around at this point a lot. So once we flip that 208 mark, I'll probably consider buying some more, but my bags are pretty filled. Oh yeah, strat shit. Yeah, sorry bro. Let's look at this shit. Strat looks fucking pretty bomb. Yeah, fuck. I like literally just buying this breakout of this, like, where is it? If you just like follow this wedge, bought the breakout and just held on to it, boom. And like I said, it reminds me of Zil, right? Like, they both did the exact same thing. They look identical. There's no difference between them. They just had this weird little wedge that went sideways for a long time. Daily MAs reset, broke out. If you bought here, just fucking held on for the ride, you'd be rich. So, but looking at it now, Um, so similar story, gone sideways for over 300 days, flipped the daily MAs. Um, yep, came for actually a wick retest, I didn't even realize. Wicked all the way down, so if you had bids around here, you would have got filled. I know the books are super thin, like super, super thin, so you gotta like set your bids and yeah, just like be patient because this shit's mega liquid, kind of like Hyobi coin, so I can't say anything. Um, I have these horizontals marked already. Um, yeah, just because we fucked around, like this was the range high right here, and you can see also here. I guess all my boxes are fucking green, aren't they? So you can just see price fucked around here a little bit as well. So we can kind of assume that we're gonna have some difficulties in that same area again. But I think once we flip that level, it's like game time. Um, and can start filling these big gaps that we have in price. So Strat I think is a good one to have. I know Gray you have some. I had some. Probably should steal because I know I'm gonna regret it. Just because I know that Strat. I think it was Strat, wasn't it? It went on a fucking mega. Yeah, it's gone on a mega tear before, right? So even just like a remotely decent move for a few 100% is fucking awesome. So I think it's one worth holding on to. Don't really know what else to say about it. I know we've gone over it before, but um, yeah, I think that really is about it. Like, if I had a bag right now, I'd honestly probably consider like taking at least some profit and then just like buy the flips of these levels, just because we're kind of in like the main chunk of resistance right now. Um, yeah, we're in the main chunk of resistance right now, so we'll see what happens. Um, Hopefully you fucking get your moon that you want. Um, but yeah, no, MA wise is fucking clean. Like 3-day MAs look great, daily MAs look great, 4-hour MAs look great, 1-hour MA, like literally every time frame looks fucking bomb. So, um, if I wanted to fill more of a position, it would just be down here around the SMA 7. Or if you, I don't think you'll get filled back down here at around 44, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm actually really interested to see how this one goes as well. So I think that's really about it. If there's anything else you want to go over about Strat, let me know. But I think it's pretty straightforward. Oh, no worries, man. Yeah, they're all just the same thing, right? Like most obvious plays, and I think this like when I tweeted about Strat, Verge, and Zill, there was like my most liked shit. But like, look at this. There's no difference between any of them. They've gone sideways a long time. MAs are reset. We started to flip them, and they just fucking go. Verge has pulled back pretty hard, but it's still like, I don't think Verge is done either, to be honest with you. We haven't really seen much alt momentum on Binance the past few days, so it's kind of an awkward time to be playing them. So just like, I don't know, just be careful with anything, especially like with Strat, with it being so illiquid. If someone dumps their like Bitcoin worth bag, like market dump it, it's gonna fucking cascade stop losses and probably cause some max pain. So we'll see. So I think that covers a lot of the coins. Like, I don't know, Man is one of my favorite ones. Look at this. Man looks just fucking ready to tear as well. I have a big bag of Man. Matic, some of you exited Matic today when you probably shouldn't have. Still think it's gonna fill the gap. Still think it looks fucking perfectly healthy. So that's worth holding on to. Meat, I expect a scam pump soon. My bag of this is pretty big, to be honest. We're just kind of consolidating here, but I think when the time's right, it's just gonna fucking tear like it did over here. What else? Went over that, went over that, went over that. TT's just falling deeper in the wedge, kind of like I expected, but didn't want. Have an alert set here just in case it comes down, and then I'll probably buy some. Went over all of these, I think. One still looks good. wick is sitting on the daily MAs after a massive pullback. Very liquid though, don't really recommend it. XMX looks good, I just don't, it's too awkward to get in now, just because it's been steadily moving up for so long. Yeah, I think that covers it. So I'm gonna go over Binance futures. I don't know if any of you in here other than AD give a shit. I'm just gonna go over the futures platform. And so I'm just logging in. Gonna go over the futures platform and just give a rundown of how to use it. Just because I guess a couple of people haven't done it before, but go over it now. But I think that sums everything up. If anyone wants me to go over anything, let me know. But I think I've kind of touched on every current coin that we're looking at. And my eyes are peeled on all the exchanges. So, oops, shit. So yeah, I don't know. Thanks for stopping in, guys. I'm still gonna be on here, going over the futures platform. But if you guys want me to check out anything else, just let me know. Okay, cool. Alright, so here's the futures platform. Let me just open Discord too. Okay, cool. So, for anyone not familiar, this is the Binance futures platform. Just get on it from Binance website. Go under, fuck, I forget what the tab's called. But you can go to perpetual futures. It'll open up this nice website. They had just updated their UI. This was the old one. Looks kind of clunky. I'm glad they updated it because it looked kind of shitty. I know there's a lot going on here, and you'll be like, what the fuck, what is all this stuff? But honestly, it's pretty straightforward once you get the hang of it. So we'll start with up here at the left. You can do perpetual or quarterly. They just have this quarterly fucking, I don't know, contract. I've never looked at that in my life. I just look at the perpetual list, so it's only USDT pairs. They're pegged pretty closely to the actual USDT price of coins. You might notice that if you're looking at, let's say, Bitcoin USDT on trading view, it might be off by a few dollars. Sometimes it varies by slight amounts. They do actually on trading view. Let's just open it. You can look up the actual perp itself, the futures perp, but sometimes the newly listed ones won't really have a lot of price history, so it literally is useless to you. So you have to use the normal. Yeah, this actually it doesn't look too bad for a long. So if anyone is fucking around on the futures platform, or has money floating around, I don't know. Once we flip, if we start flipping up here to 2056, actually wouldn't be a bad idea to open a long. But anyway, yeah, so go here, pick your coins. I just favorited these ones. Well, I actually didn't favorite these. It's different from what I had before, to be honest. But I can favorite any ones that you want to click on easily, and they'll appear up here just for easy access. But it's not really any different than the other platform in many regards, because you still got your chart. You change the time frames here. I still usually stick around the hourly. Then down here would be your positions, if you had any open positions. Obviously with the ticker, the amount that you bought, entry price, market price, liquidation price, which would only be applicable or various depend on the leverage you use. That's up here. I'll go over it all, man. Don't worry. Yeah, so that would show your position there. Here's obviously the order book with people selling, people buying. Leverage is up here. I just keep mine at cross. Gives you a rundown of the difference between cross and isolated. I just keep it at cross. But make sure as you switch between each ticker, you can see here the leverage changes, right? So right now it's at 5x for Bitcoin, but Ethereum, oh, it's the same for Ethereum right now. Yeah, see, and if I switch over to algo, oh, fucking shit, I'm clicking a whole bunch of stuff. If I click over to algo, it changes to 10x, and it just like changes like just based on what your choices are or what choices you've made. So don't like make sure you double check before entering anything, just in case you had a fun night the other night, opened a 50x leverage like trade, and then you forgot to bring it down when you get into like a more sizable trade, and then you're like suddenly stuck in a position. You're like, oh shit, and then you can be fucked, right, if it moves the wrong way. Um, yeah, so um, like I've recommended to a lot of people. And I know a lot of you probably don't even listen to the shit I say, but I've always recommended for people that don't trade with leverage to even just start out with 2x. 2x just to get a feel for it. You're using double the value than you usually would in the trade, and your liquidation price is quite far away, but you're clearly risking twice as much of your own portfolio by using leverage, right? So let's say you put in like, I don't know, $1,000 on a trade, but you use 2x leverage. So in a sense, you get to basically borrow that $1,000, but any loss that you make on that $1,000 you borrow, you have to pay back. So it's like a loan, right? So this is all like a loan system, right? So sure, you can borrow a shitload of their money, but if you have it up at 50x leverage and it moves 2% the wrong way, you're getting liquidated. Your portfolio will then go to zero. So don't be stupid. Don't put high leverage because you're like, oh, this is fun. Like you're just gonna lose all your money and be sad and then, go on a mental breakdown spree like some people. So yeah, go with 2 to 3 to start. Don't be stupid. Practice with it. Learn how to be extremely picky with your entries. Make sure you have your stop limits, especially with leverage or your stop limit, stop market. You can choose up here. Sorry, I haven't gone over that yet, I guess. So your limit order, make sure you set your limit orders. But when you set your limit orders, and I cannot be more clear, set your stop limit or stop market at the same time. You can set stop markets even if you're not in position. You can set the orders even if you just have a limit position. So for example, if I want to buy $100 here, you set it at 0.2335, you can still set like a stop market down at your invalidation level before you get in position. That's huge. Because I've know people very close to me that have set their limit orders, gone to bed, gotten filled as the price moves down, but then free falls, they get filled, and then they're sleeping or not available, keeps going and liquidates them. So I can tell you that you will learn the hard way if you don't trade with proper risk management and proper orders set at the time of. Yeah, so what Kane says, alternatively, leverage allows you to use smaller position sizes. If your normal size is 500, instead you can only long $100 at 5x. Your risk is the same, but you're more liquid. So yeah. So, it's like a good way to look at it, but you really need to be picky with your entries and stop losses. You can have more exposure across the board, which is great if you're doing everything properly and you're not fighting the trend and you're not degenerating with your leverage. But it can really go wrong very quickly, and I cannot stress that enough. You need to be extremely cautious with leverage positions. I typically don't like to have them running overnight unless it's only like as high as 5x leverage. If I'm in a 10x to like sometimes to Gen 20x positions, I can't sleep very well, and I really don't recommend it. But I still have my stop losses in place anyway, just in case. Because if you wake up and you're down fucking like 40%, or you wake up to that liquidation email, or whatever, you're gonna be fucking miserable. So I think that kind of like goes over the gist of it. Well, goes over some of it. So there's your limit orders there. You're used to those on the other platform. This is where you set your buys and sells. Market order could be the same thing if you want to get in right away. I don't recommend it. I'm pretty sure if you market in and out, you pay a slightly higher fee, or I don't know what someone was telling me. I don't know if you pay a slightly higher fee or you're just dealing with slippage, right? So if you want to buy like zero point 0.5 of a Bitcoin at market, it's going to buy the first zero point 0.5 of a Bitcoin. But if you set a limit order at current price and you wait to get that position filled, you're just going to have a better entry price and therefore like a better um, like liquidation point or whatever, a better like you're closer to invalidation. Not you don't want to get liquidated or else yeah you'll be sad. So and then yeah, stop limit, stop market, or trailing stop. Um, yeah, usually well it just depends on where you are in the position, right? If you're only just entering a position, I typically do stop market just because I want to make sure that I get filled. I don't want to set a stop limit and then I like the limit goes off, but then there's no liquidity there to actually catch that order, and then my sell just kind of stays there, and the price keeps going down while no one actually fills my order, right? So if you stop market, you'll make sure you get filled. It can burn more sometimes, but at least make sure you get filled, especially if you're like sleeping or something, and then once again wake up and you're liquidated. Um, what else we got? Reduce only. Reduce only is actually pretty important and makes life really easy for you guys. I should have sent a little more, like I should have some money on this account. I took everything off of this one. But reduce only is really nice when you're setting your like stop market orders or usually your stop market because it um, basically the max amount you can do is the amount that you're currently positioned in. So like let's say you're in like 5,000 algo long, but you want to set a stop market and just like move this over to that 100 or however many algo that you're in. It'll only let you do that 1,000. It won't let you do that 1,000 plus enter a short position for your max amount, if that makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain, but reduce only is actually quite important. Well, not important, just makes life easier when you're trying to set up your orders. Yeah, I think it's just best if you play around with it. And it'll like say max amount. It'll be the amount that you're positioned in. So just like I don't know, just toggle around with it. I think it's pretty straightforward. Um, I think that kind of covers like the gist of it all. Like, there's not really much else to it. I don't actually, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know what these do. I don't use them. Um, yeah, and then transfer your money over, deposit money, buy crypto. I don't know why you would do that. I don't know. I've never bought from Binance. I don't know what their fees are like, but I don't really recommend it. So, um, yeah, I think that's really about it. Do you have any more questions or anything? So, going over the leverage amounts. Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's right. It'll show right here. Right here at liquidation price, it'll tell you the price where you would get liquidated. I can't. I don't think it'll like. I don't think there'll be just like. I can't recall. I can't recall. I don't think there's an actual line that shows up. I don't know if there's a way to maybe do it. It's actually a good point, but I don't. Hmm. Yeah, no, I don't. That's obviously not it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't actually think there's like an actual physical line. I think if anything, you would just have to like put a horizontal array or horizontal line at that point that the liquidation price is set at. You know what I mean? Like if it's at like if you're gonna get liquidated at 0.22, just like you could just set your horizontal line there and just like pretend that's your liquidation level because it is your liquidation level, right? But I don't think there's an actual like toggle unless I just don't know where it is. Display positions and open orders. So yeah, it shows your open orders and like where your sell limits are, but there's no line for your liquidation point. So I think it's actually I'm not sure why they don't have that, or maybe I just don't know about it, but yeah, I think that kind of covers it. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of like the standard process I go through when entering, but yeah, all you need to know is your um, leverage amounts, and then just have your plan of entry, stop loss, profit levels, set your orders, and then go to bed. So we'll see. I haven't really looked at much. Oh wow, Tesla's looks like dog shit. I was in a Link short. How did that work out? Oh yeah, okay, good. Yeah, I'm actually glad I was shorted Link. Where was it? I got a pretty good chunk of that move, if not the whole move. So, do I enter stop market order when you? Yeah, so that's what I was saying. I don't know if there's anyone even listening other than you at this point, but do you enter stop market order when you add your main limit order? So that's exactly what I was trying to say. I don't know if my wording is just shitty. But yeah, right when you set your limit order, let's say you want to set a limit order like down here for whatever reason. Right when you set your limit order, also set your stop market order or stop limit order at the same time. That does work. I do highly, highly, highly recommend it. Because then you're just like going in blind, and if your limit gets filled while you're sleeping but keeps going down, or whatever long or short position it may be goes against you, you'll obviously like get burned by it. So yes, you can and should do both. Anything else? I think that's really about it. Like, no need to overcomplicate it. I don't know if... Yeah, no. I was gonna see if Stone Fox is on here listening or not, but I don't think so. No worries. Is that it? Is there anything else? I'm totally fine and like, okay, cool. If you have any more questions or like I don't know, wanna bounce ideas or thoughts or whatever off me, you know I'm always around, right? So, yeah. So I think I'm gonna hop off now. Gotta go mow my lawn and do some adult shit. So, I think I've gone over basically majority of things, but yeah, be careful with your leverage. Like I said, please start low. Don't be like, oh, this is fun, 20x, let's go, and then you get fucking rammed the wrong way, and then you're fucking upset. So yeah, I think that's it. No worries. I'll talk to you guys later, and have a good night.